get them used to Bert and Ernie. They love Bert and Ernie, and then Bert and Ernie come out and tell them, you know why we're living together, right? Now this is a Muppet, it's imagination, but it's very odd for Muslim children. Instead of having a family, like a mother and a father and thing, there's Bert and Ernie. One of them cooks, one of them is the feminine one, and the other is the masculine one. And your children watching that, and we don't really know the deep implications of a lot of these television programs. And this is not a joke, because these people have psychologists working for them. If you go to Madison Avenue, many of the people that work in advertising agencies have PhDs in psychology. They've literally studied how to manipulate. A lot of the ads that you see are literally, a lot of times you see people in these contorted positions and things like that. Very unnatural. If you try to imitate some of these ads, seriously, look at them. They're very unnatural, contorted. It all has to do with subliminal of impact. And there's many books written about this. If you look at a film like Aladdin, Aladdin has a deep message to children. One of the messages, the most dominant message, is you can obey your father and he'll forgive you in the end. Disobey your father and he'll forgive you in the end. The other thing is an undermining of the idea of Sharia, because the whole film revolves around a law that says the princess cannot marry a commoner. And this has to do with the idea of Sharia, with tradition. Do you see? So it undermines the idea of tradition, because all she keeps talking about is, why do I have to follow this tradition? And this is a deep subliminal message to children. When the parents try to instill in them traditional values, they remember Aladdin, and oh yeah, that's like Princess Jasmine, she had to do this, and in the end she didn't do it, and her father still loved her. You see? There's a commercial in America where they had a soldier. He's driving in a taxi to his home, and he's in his nice shining marine suit, butched hair, and he comes in and he gets off the car, and you see he's very hesitant and reluctant to go up to the door. And then finally the door opens, and there's this very stern father looking there with his face frowning. And then he sees his son, and he goes back to the son, and the son looks very apprehensive. And then they both break out in a smile, and they go embrace each other. Now, why would they do a commercial like that? Because there are many people who have sons now of the military age who were war resistors in the 1960s. And they don't want their children to go into the army. They don't want them to become part of this military-industrial complex. And so these commercials are, and you watch them with football games. That's when they come on, when these young 18-year-olds are watching it. So there's deep psychological messages being thrust into the minds of these people that are literally in a hypnagogic, passive, receptive state, uncritical mode. Another example is the Little Mermaid. Again, the daughter betrays the father. The father's this stern, mean person that wants to follow tradition, and the mother goes against him. Again, the same thing happens. In the end, it all works out. Everybody's happy. The message is, if you get pregnant and you're out of wedlock, well, your father's going to forgive you anyway. Right? And this is the message that they're giving to children out of these things. So Muslims have to be deeply aware of this, that it's not this innocent, harmless thing that's taking place. No, there is indoctrination taking place. People have a worldview. The creator of Bart Simpson was interviewed. I read this interview, and he said that he was an anarchist that did not believe in authority. And he said, but he realized that the best way to get his views across was to make people laugh. And if you watch Bart Simpson, and I don't encourage this, right? But Bart Simpson is all about undermining authority, making fun of the principal, the school, the authority of the school, making fun of the father. It's constantly making fun of the father, what a buffoon his father is. You see, so this is what happens. Now, the same thing, there was a film called The Goofy Movie, which was a Disney film for children. The film basically completely mocked school and education. And the aspiration of this child was to become a rock star. Now this is something you're taking your little child to see, thinking it's some innocent film by Walt Disney, that great lover of children and good, wholesome, clean entertainment. People don't know that Touchstone Productions, which is a pornographic film production company, is owned by Disney. That's how Disney is for the PG and the G films. Touchstone is for the films that have pornography and sex and these type of things in it. So these people have no family values. They have no family. They're only looking for a market. That's all they are. They're looking literally for a market. And they want to commodify the people. And so literally, all these films that they make, you have toys that come out of it, so the children learn to become consumers. They go see the film, and then they want the doll, and they want the tennis shoes, and they want the t-shirt, and they want the hat. So they learn to become consumers, which this is the goal of the secular society, is to make everyone a consumer. Now the word consumer in the Old English language means devil. That's what it means. Consumer in Old English means the devil. And Allah says that the mubaddireen are ikhwanu shayateen. The extravagant consumers are the brothers of the shayateen. This is what Allah says. So conspicuous consumption is literally a shaitanic activity. People now, when they get depressed, instead of going to the masjid, they go to the mall. They go to the store. They go to shop. This is a fact. Sociologically, you can read all the studies. People, when they get depressed, they go shop. If they don't have money, they just pull out their credit cards, which is the next thing. Moving from the media to the economics of the secular society. The economics of the secular society is to make every single human transaction a ribawi transaction. Every single one. When you pull out your credit card, that is a ribawi transaction. There's a middleman which is called a simsar in Arabic, a samsara. And this form of samsara is not permissible. It's literally haram in Islamic law. So what you do is when you buy with your credit card, there is somebody in a bank somewhere that's getting 3, 4 to 6% out of that transaction between two individuals. And now in Sharia we have no hukum that allows that permits that. Between two buyers and sellers, no third person can come in there like that and get money out of that transaction. And yet, this is what they want every single transaction to be, where you're literally being charged by this third party for human transactions of buying and selling. The Prophet ﷺ said, يُوشِكُ أَنْ يَأْتِي عَلَى نَاسِ زَمَانٍ كُلُّهُمْ يَأْكُلُونَ الرِّبَى. There is coming a time on humankind where all of them will be consuming riba. And he said, وَمَنْ لَا يَأْكُلُهُ يُغَبَّرُ بِغُبَارِهَا or يُصَابُ بِغُبَارِهَا. And the one that is not eating it will be covered in its dust. You see? And this is the age we're in. So the bankers are consolidating their power and making all of our transactions ribawi transactions, which is the most haram form of transaction. And the Prophet ﷺ likened it to in violating the mother. You see, this is likened in the hadith to in violating your own mother. And in one riwayah, and there's sound hadith, that it's like in violating your mother, fornicating with your mother in the shade of the Kaaba. And people say, I had somebody tell me, how is that possible that riba could be to this level? When you begin to study riba and the effects it has on society, riba literally is one of the main causes of prostitution. Seriously. It's one of the main causes of prostitution worldwide. The worldwide poverty that exists today, the basis of it is because of the riba system. If you want to understand why South America is in the condition it's in, you have to understand the World Bank and the IMF policies that are usury policies. People talk about the rainforest being destroyed and how the oxygen is going to all wear out, and they don't know that the oxygen, the rainforest is being destroyed because Brazil has massive debt. They have to pay interest on their debt, so they make cash crops or they graze cattle so you can eat your McDonald's hamburger for 99 cents in America, and I don't know what it is here. I only know it's 99 cents because I see it advertised. I have never bought one. I don't want to buy one. I mean, we used to have an understanding of barakah in food, which is the next thing. You see, economics, look at food. The Quran is a shifa. It's not only a healing for the body, for the mind, but for the body as well. It commands us to fast. The Prophet says, Sumu tasihhu. Fast and you will become healthy. كُتِبَ عَلَيْكُمُ الصِّيَامِ كَمَا كُتِبَ عَلَى الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. There is a relationship between the way you eat and the way you behave. Ahmed Zarruq said, كُلْ مَا شِئْتَ فَمِثْلُكَ تَفْعَلْ. Eat whatever you want, but know that you're going to do whatever you eat. إِنْ أَكَلْتَ حَلَالًا عَمِلْتَ حَلَالًا رَغْمَ أَنْفِكَ. If you eat halal, you will do halal in spite of yourself. وَإِنْ أَكَلْتَ حَرَامًا عَمِلْتَ حَرَامًا رَغْمَ أَنْفِكَ. And if you eat haram, you will do haram in spite of yourself. They asked the Prophet, how do we make our dua mustajab? He said, طَيِّبْ طَعَامِكْ يُسْتَجَبْ دُعَاؤُكَ. Make pure your food and Allah will answer your prayer. When the people of the cave came out of the cave, the first thing he said, go get food and look for the purest food. Azka ta'ama. Look for the purest food. And Muslims, they have completely abandoned it.